live in the building.
Are we?
Oh, well, now live, yeah. All right, guys.
Hello. Very wet. I'm like a drowned rat already.
Welcome to a very wet, miserable, grey Cumbria that we're in. I've got the nice job of hiding underneath the umbrella for most of the duration of this live.
You can multitask though, I can't.
Yeah, I can read and speak, whereas Dan cannot. Well, I'm going to wait a little bit, guys, obviously, so everyone can jump on board and join us. We have got Drifter, we've got Star, we've got Swift.
And me.
And then obviously me and Dan. I feel like I'll keep crossing over with this umbrella thing. And we've had to do it under the umbrella, guys. Hopefully,
that's quite the noises now.
Actually, yeah, can you actually hear me for a start? And it's not too much like being under a tent. So it's oh, Holly says lighting under the brolly is great. Thanks, Hol. Making the eyes pop. Right, what are we on? We'll leave it a couple of minutes, guys, just to make sure everyone gets in the right place, because I know there's a couple of schools in that wanting to join as well, and then we'll kind of really get going with it all. Poor Star, bless her. Oh, she's about to walk off. She's on my leg. Poor Star, look at that. 12 weeks old and she's committed to the rain. She's only staying out for a little bit. Star's on first.
And then she gets the heaters in the office, doesn't you?
Yeah, then she gets to go in with Mum.
Nanny looks after you.
Right. Do you reckon that's long enough? Can hear the rain, but can hear you too. Great, thanks. I'm glad you can.
I'll go in front of the quad then with this one then.
Oh, not yet though, because we've got to do loads of spiel first. All right, guys. Right, so we're going to go for it. Hopefully it's enough. Oh, New York! Yes, we got New York!
That's dedication, that.
I know. Okay, so here we are. Wet, miserable, rainy Cumbria. First lesson of the day is, if you say you're going to do something, be dedicated and committed enough to carry it out no matter what the weather. We ain't no fair weather farmers here, are we? I say underneath the brolly. Anyway, so like we said when I put this out there that we were doing it, we are in no way saying that we are professional sheepdog trainers at all. We are just sharing our experiences and what we've learned whilst training Drift and Swift this time. It's actually been really good to have two dogs at the same age, because it's really shown you how
different they are.
Yeah, how personality affects it and how obviously they mature at different times. So we're going to go through all of that. But yes, just a disclaimer at the start, we ain't saying anything that we're not. We're just going to talk you through like what we've been doing. Therefore, we're only going to be covering the very basics that everybody can follow and everyone can understand, because we have to remember this is also for homeschool for the kids, as many adults as there are on with us. But yeah, so first we've got Star,
the star pupil,
and underneath an umbrella. All right, so if you've been following the account, you'll know that Star is the newest addition to Team Red. She is only 12 weeks old, but she has got the breeding of a champion. Hopefully. Literally a champion. So when we get our pups, the
training starts now, basically, doesn't it? That's what we're basically saying.
Yeah.
As soon as your pup arrives at home, that's when the initial training starts. And yeah.
So it's really important that before your dog goes near sheep, that you have the best bond possible with it. That you both trust each other, the dog trusts you not to put it in any bad positions or situations, and you trust the dog not to do anything too stupid.
I feel like having the basics, like you lie down, you stay, and you come back is essential.
Yeah.
But that's what I feel from what I've done for the first time with Swift. Just because if you've got that, then you've got control of your dog before you're putting it in a situation where it might not be. Like, it gets excited basically once it goes into with the sheep and stuff. So if you've got that control, it's a good starting point.
When pups go in with sheep, you have to remember that at the beginning it's all a big game for them and it's not work. So they think it's loads and loads of fun. So, should we go? We'll show you what we've been doing with Star. Literally, we've just been putting Star.
Refuse with us.
She might not do it now because it's raining, but we'll bring her out. Let me just flip you around. So, with Star, we've been doing the sit, lie down and the recall. She's fuming. She's fuming.
Star, sit.
Sit. She's like, it's wet. I don't want to.
She won't do it because it's wet. On you. But basically,
Starry night. Yeah, you get underneath the umbrella with me.
it's a good start. But basically,
Pups that went according to plan.
Pups don't learn anything in the kennel. So even now when we're out with the sheep and everything, Star's with us 24/7, and I feel having a pup out with you, it gets used to all the noises, all the sounds, all the different smells that are going to be in the fields and stuff, and having them out with you all the time gets that bond. If you don't have that bond and they're in a kennel, they're not going to learn anything in a kennel. They should be with you 24/7 if you can.
Socialisation is key, and
so
that's why
Star's going to go to the warmth.
That's why we make sure that our dogs go everywhere with us. So they come up the fell with us, they come to the pub with us, or they're not right now because obviously we're in lockdown and COVID. Everything. They come to different farms, they go for walks, they just get out and about and they experience life, and that is absolutely vital. Dan is gone back down there now to take it back in. I mean, that didn't go amazingly well. After this live, when we've warmed up, we will do a video of Star showing you how she sits and lies down like a little angel that she normally is. So, obviously once we get past that, then we got the boys who are watching Dan. Hey boys, are you going to show everybody the sheeps? So, we've got Drift here and we've got Swift here. So, Drift is my dog and Swift is Danny's. We got them both from Emma Gray, who you might see on BBC's This Farm in Life. Emma is like your professional sheepdog trainer, so like I'm sure she can do a continuation of this video for sure. But yeah, having these two pups has been absolutely amazing because it has really shown us the difference in terms of personality and type. Dan's got Drift like this. Here you go. Say hello. Hello. So what we do now, we don't have any commands when the dog goes in with the sheep for the first few times. We literally use body language and we use tone. So what we want the dog to be doing eventually is circling the sheep in a nice motion. So do you want to go in and show them the circling?
We said about having the pen and stuff being a
well, we'll do that as we go. So what we do is we have this ring. Basically, it's a smaller contained area where the pup and the sheep are a bit more contained and it's easier. So, here's Drift in the ring. Drift is called the pocket rocket. The first thing we do is what we want the dogs to be going like this. So, we don't really use any commands whatsoever. Do you want to change direction, Dan? So to change direction, we block him with our body and ourselves, and then it changes his direction. Does that make sense? So you lie him down again, Dan. Lie him down. So what we do is we always get the dog to stop opposite and balance the sheep to us. Dan. Drift's like, I'm going to lie down. There we go. So, and then when we want Drift to go a certain direction, Danny's going to move the way that he doesn't want him to go. Come back over this way, Dan. So we see how the dog is keeping off the sheep, but he's circling them, and that's the natural movement of a collie. He isn't trying to jump in, he isn't trying to bite, he's just naturally coming around the sheep. Okay, and then lying down. Lie down. So we got him to lie down. Then Dan is dramatically going to move out the way to, there we go. So we'll do that again. So we're going to lie him down. Lie down. And there's going to be no commands. Dan's going to move his body, and then the way that Dan doesn't go, the dog will go. There we go. And basically that clears the space out for the dog. So what it is all about is putting pressure on the ground where you don't want the dog to go. So the dog can go three ways. It can go left, it can go right, it can go forwards. So what we want to do is block off the two ways that we don't want the dog to go, so it opens the space up really nice for the dog. So we'll get Dan to show you again now. There you go, lie down. Okay, so if we want him to go right, that way, he's doing it because he heard him. But you see how that space was nice and open and clear? So Dan's going to make him go the other way. So he's going to clear out of the way and he's going to open this space up here. And it's going to let Drift go all the way around. So literally, so as Drift is younger, so not right now because now he's on his commands, but when he's a pup, what he's looking out for initially is your body language. So he's looking to see where you're moving so he can see where he's going to move to. So once we've got that in, then it's all a bit about tone as well. So we'll make a lot of pushing noises and we'll make like encouraging noises like shh, 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 shh. And then we'll go, good lad, make noises like that. And if he's doing something we don't want to, it's just a more assertive noise like a growl. And that just bosses you over it. So Dan's just having a little play with him while I'm talking. Alright, so this is Drift. Can you see why we call him the pocket rocket? There we go. So, once you got your dog going nicely around, then you can start putting the commands in. So I'm going to get Dan to come out with Drift now, and then we're going to go through the commands. Call him back in, Dan, and we'll go through the commands. Call him back in and we'll go through the commands. I feel like I'm cheating, sat underneath this, and he's out in the rain. Here, Drift, that'll do. Here, Drift. Drift's not that keen on going back to Dan because here, Drift, good lad, here. Drift here, Drift. Come here, out.
Lie down. Stay.
So, it's actually quite good that Drift's working for Dan there because he is a little bit of a one-man dog or one-woman dog, and normally just works for me. So, he's very used to a woman over a man. Hi, I can see you, yes. Drift here. Here. Good lad, sit. Yeah, you're going to put him on the thing. Good lad. Alright, so once you're happy that your dog is really nice and controlled around sheep, then you can start putting commands on. So, what are the commands, Dan the man?
So come by is clockwise. I couldn't work it out for ages, my head was baffled. Come by, clockwise, like a clock.
Yeah, which is left.
Which is left, yeah. And away, other way, anti-clockwise, which is right.
Yeah.
So come by, away, then you go dizzy because you keep going in circles and circles and circles. Making me dizzy thinking about it. So you spend a lot of time at the beginning going round in circles, where you start to see the natural instinct of the dog come out and how it works. Some dogs like to go a lot closer, some dogs like to be far away when working the sheep, but it's all alright because they're literally they're literally still pups. They're still learning, so even if you have a really good session one day, the next day they can go back to square one. Right, but
so back to commands. We went off on that one. So the dog can go left or right, basically. So if we want the dog to go left, we say come by, and imagine you're still on a clock. Left is clockwise, so you're going to go around the clock this way. So k and k, clockwise, come by, curly k, okay? And if you want the dog to go right, which is away, I'm going the other way now, it is anti-clockwise, which is away, A and A. Come by and away. Clockwise, anti-clockwise. The tricky thing is that it's always the dog's left and right, not your left and right, which can be a bit confusing sometimes when you're trying to learn. But once you get to grips with it, it is absolutely fine. And you always
say one dog will favour one side than the other.
Yeah, your dog will tend to have a bias on which side it feels more comfortable and which side it works better on. So, I mean, you'll recognise that probably pretty much straight away. Drift is much better at away and gives a lot more space on away than just come by. Just like how we are left-handed or we are right-handed. So, once you've got your sides, you've got your come by and you've got your away, then you've got your simple walk up, which means the dog is going to walk up onto the sheep and push them forwards or away from you, depending on how you stood. And then you have your you have your lie down, obviously. Your lie down is like your panic button. It's like your stop button. If you are training your dog and then you feel like the whole session's just got out of control or the dog's not listening, then you want to say lie down. Lie down just means, whoa, pause play, take a second, take a little breather, think about what you're doing. Make sure you have your lie down mastered, and that's why we always teach our dogs to lie down before we go on to sheep. And then you have your call, which ends the session, which is that will do. So that will do. We'll call the dog off the sheep and then come back to you. Fingers crossed. When dogs are young, they don't always want to come back, and you don't really say it like that will do. It's more like that'll do, that'll do. That's how we say it anyway. But I mean, these are just commands you could actually have wherever you wanted. You could have spaghetti for left and sausage for right if you wanted to, but you have to put them in play from the minute that you start training. But the generic kind of terms in the sheepdog world are come by, away, lie down, that'll do, walk up. Plus we get a few more as you get a bit further on with training. So Dan is gonna try and be as dramatic as possible and shout his commands so you can understand and see what he's doing. Yeah?
As loud as I can.
Yeah, or I'll tell, yeah. So if you say it, then I'll reiterate it on here. So we've got Swift in now. I should say that. We have Swift in now, guys.
What? Magically. He's like
Swift is a much more mature dog. Like, so him and Drift are pretty much the exact same age, minus a week. But Swift is amazing. He's been on this earth before and he's just a completely different dog. He's going to show you in a much calmer and more controlled way him working on the sheep, and hopefully it'll give you a little bit of chance to get to grips on everything that you need to do. So we're going to start. What way are you going to start first, K or A? So we'll start with the curly K. So we're going to send Swift come by, which is left. There you go. So that's come by. Can you see the difference in the two dogs? That's it. Lie down. And now he's going come by again. He's always to the left. Oh, that's away. So that's around like that. There you go. Swift, see how Swift is always balancing the sheep to Danny? Well, that is a natural thing that we teach the dogs, and they naturally will do that too. It's really good when they get that. Boom. It's awesome. Come by to the left again. So see how he's going clockwise. Imagine this whole ring that we're in now is a clock. Okay. Dan stood pretty much in the middle of the clock. Send them. Oh.
Lie down.
Away, anti-clockwise. See how Swift is unreal at his lie down. So Danny's got so much control of this training session. So much control. Because that lie down's in place. They trust each other. So I should also say, when we do our combines and aways and our lie downs, we do it all in tone as well. So our tone changes. So you won't actually massively hear a farmer or a sheepdog handler praise the dog that much as they go through. We won't be going, oh, well done, oh, good boy, oh, you're amazing. We don't really do that. We do it with our tone of voice instead. So when we're going come by or away, we're going to say that in quite a nice, welcoming, sing-songy way. So we'll be like, praising. Come by, ready. Good lad, away. So it's nice, it's welcoming the dog to come into that space to go around the sheep that way. Whereas our lie down is much more assertive and a bit more kind of dominating over the dog to make sure that he knows that that's exactly what he has to do. And then obviously it's getting very windy. And then obviously if the dog isn't listening, then again your tone comes more into play. Your lie down will become a bit louder and a bit more assertive again. And then it's repetitive. Lie down, lie down, lie down until it does. And then you can start again and you go again with your come by, nice tone, nice welcoming voice again. Sorry, did you want to say something?
I was just going to say as well that I don't know if you've gone over it or not, but basically when you're starting off with a young pup, it's really good to have sheep that are nice and steady like this.
Yeah.
If the sheep are steady, no, I was going to say, yeah, because it makes the job a lot easier. If you've got flighty sheep, then it's no good for a pup in that situation. You want them to be winning every single situation the pups go into.
Yeah. So these sheep here that we have always ran them on dogs, and then before we actually started training the pups more intensively every day, we had the older dogs run them around the field a lot and just kind of work them, so the sheep don't feel any stress when they're with the dog, and it just means there's so much calm. We know they're going to stay within the area, contained. They're not going to try to jump out. They're not going to try and face the dog either, so that's another thing you really don't want to do. You don't want to be with really confident or overconfident sheep that are going to turn and face your dog, because that's going to really knock the confidence. Even if they just stand their ground, but then if they then go to headbutt, Huh?
Then you're back to square one.
Then you're back
Knocking
months
the
and months back of trying to rebuild a dog's confidence around sheep all over again. So it's really important that you have the right sheep, or you go to somebody who has got sheep ready for the job. Don't just throw them in a field with anything else. Make sure they're proper sheep. Well, trained sheep.
And I was just going to say, we're touching on voice commands at the moment, but once they've done the voice command, they start to get... We've not brought a whistle out with it, have we?
No. You got your whistle on?
No.
Well, that was a bit... I thought that was a bit out next
Yeah, I'm going to say,
level.
but I'm just saying, some people might be asking why you're not using the whistle. As
Yeah.
pups, we get them used to the voice commands first, and then once they've mastered the voice commands, that's when we go on to the whistle commands.
Yeah.
Which are a lot nicer.
That's it. Do you want to do a bit more of Swifty boy?
Yeah, ready.
So now he's asking Swift to walk up, which is walking up to the sheep. See how he's nice and calm and steady. He's got his head about him. He's not getting carried away. Like Swift is now 10 months old and he knows this is not a game anymore and this is more work. Nice space there, you see? You might see Danny and Swift on one man, this dog one day. Maybe me and Drift, but we've got a bit more work to do. So the most important thing that you need to remember is try not to compare your dog to other people's dogs. Like, you really can't. Like, every other dog is different. Everyone's dog's got a different personality. They've got a different rate of maturing. You tend to see when they get to about 2 years old, it all evens out a lot more. But some just take to it quicker than others. Some mature faster than others. These two are the absolute exception. Look at him, so excited. Drift is so much more of a pocket rocket. He's really intense and he just can't get over it that it's not a game yet. So he's taken a long time to mature, so compared to Swift. But that's why it's so important. Just do not compare your dog to other people's. Not when they're so young. At all.
I've just been very lucky and fortunate that Swift very close.
Well, you're both a very good team, and I think that's another thing to remember too, that like dogs have different personalities, and it's good to make sure that your dog matches your personality. So if you're somebody who is more of a shy person, don't get a dog or try not to work with a dog who's really overly confident and hard-headed, because you clash. And it's really hard to build a nice relationship because you just end up getting angry at each other or exaggerated each other. The same the other way around. You might be really hard-headed and you might get a dog that needs encouragement and needs a bit more time. And if you can't adjust your personality or your sense of training enough, then it's never going to end very well and you end up with a dog that gets spoiled. So it's really important that you find a dog that really matches your personality as well.
I'm loud.
Dan's loud. So like Dan and Fraser don't get on when it comes to working sheep. So Fraser can't stand when Dan's shouting in the field. You know, he's not even shouting at him, but Fraser can't stand it. Swift doesn't bother, doesn't batter an eyelid, he doesn't mind at all. Yeah, but that's the whole point, is that you and your dog have to be a team. You have to be on the same page and you have to understand one another. You have to have that trust, you have to have that respect, and that starts by matching yourself nicely with the dog, which of course is young. It's hard when the pups are young and you get them really young, but you'll know within a couple of months whether you and the dog can have a working relationship together. Drift, stop. Another really important thing to remember when you're working your dog, especially when you've got a young pup and you're starting to work with the pup, you need to make sure that the dog always wins. So before you end a session, it needs to be a really positive end to the session. And the dog needs to feel like he's really succeeded in what he's done. So I learnt this a really hard way once. I was working with Derek Cumbrian, international sheepdog trainer, unreal man, like dog whisperer. And I was training the young pup of his one day and it wouldn't come back to me at the end. It was really frustrating. He wouldn't come back. I was getting more frustrated. The dog was running around the sheep more and more. And then I finally got hold of it. I put him on his lead, I put him in the kennel, didn't speak to him. Got back to the training ring and Derek went, "Go get that dog." And I went, "Well, he won't come back. Why would I go get it again now?" And he went, "That dog will never come back if you think it's going to the kennel every time it gets put back on a lead. Go get it out, work it again, pull it back in, work it again, pull it back in." And that was a real big learning moment for me. And it's one that I've never forgotten. So always leave it on a positive note. And yes, it could be frustrating at times, but if your dog doesn't come back and then he finally comes back, don't even reward him, just send him off again. And then I guarantee it gets shorter and shorter and shorter, and the dog understands and learns that actually this is still fun and he will get to go back on sheep again. It's not just the end of the session all the time. So that was a really important lesson I learned. Was there any other things that you wanted to kind of say? Sorry, I was like, I didn't get much of your work, and then I was just
It's all right. Just you've got to make it as fun as you can for both of you. I mean, I'm a farrier, but my enjoyment this year especially has been coming home every single day and just doing 10-15 minutes with my dog.
Yeah.
That's all it is, 10-15 minutes. And some days are good, some days are bad, but if you do the consistency, it shows. Well, I feel it shows.
Absolutely. You can actually talk about that, how it's when they're younger, it's just small, short sessions, isn't it?
Now, even he's a 10-month-old now, and we only do 10-15, unless he's, I kind of take him because he's the only dog I've got, but he comes to work. But if I'm doing training, it's 10-15 minutes, just enough to give him a quick buzz and everything, and then that's it.
But also, when dogs are younger, you have to remember, because this is so fun for them and it's so exciting, they actually get mentally drained before they get physically drained.
Yeah.
And it's really important that you look for those kind of signs in a dog.
Signs again when they get bored?
So when they get bored, then they'll start like sniffing around a bit. They'll sometimes eat a bit of sheep poo. It's actually stopped raining. Goodbye, umbrella. Bit of sheep poo. They'll just kind of like lose their concentration a little bit, and they'll just gaze. So really important that you keep your sessions short and concise, like literally 2-3 minutes when they're first pups. Often. Short but often, and honestly it's brilliant. They'll start to kind of get used to it more, and it'll be less physically mentally knackering than it is physically.
Is there any questions from anybody out there?
Has anybody got any questions about sheepdogs? So I'm ranting at you here about sheepdogs. Anybody want to ask anything at all about
sheep over there
what we know? Yeah, look, so we've left Swift there and he hasn't moved an inch. There he is. But feel free if you want any questions.
Because the rain stopped now.
Maybe we just did such a good job we answered them all.
Well, hopefully it's been an enjoyable
What age
thing.
do you introduce the pups to sheep?
They're all different again, aren't they?
Yeah, well we started the boys 6 months, didn't we?
Like obviously they see sheep when you're walking around the fields and stuff, but we didn't actually let them in a ring until they were 6 months because they're not physically strong enough then really to run around. I don't feel.
Go on, sorry, yeah.
I'm just saying, you can see the natural instinct from when you get them home at 12 weeks. They want to be around sheep because that's what's been bred into them.
Yeah.
But we didn't let them until they were 6 months. But like from 6 months to 10 months, that's like, it shows if you put the work in, then that's what you get.
Yeah. What size is your round pen? I mean, this is a big pen. We have quite a big pen. What we did do actually to first start, so Drift was a bit of a naughty-un. Drift was one that liked to get in there and try and bite the fleece of the sheep. It was just kind of a confidence booster for him, and it was like showing them that he was the boss. So we actually made a smaller kind of pen out of these hurdles. Not very big. How big? 10 foot?
Yeah.
About 10
6
foot
hurdles
across.
or something.
And then we put Drift on the outside of the ring, and then we got him circling, and it taught him to stay off the sheep and not bite or grip. So completely depends. We think this size ring is, I mean, it's big, but it's fine. It's still contained. It's good that it's a ring because the sheep can't stand in a corner.
And when you've got it's what Emma Gray said to me, like once the pup started getting the size, she said give him space and the dog will naturally find its balance behind the sheep.
Yeah.
So as we move to each side and the dog balances behind the sheep, it was a perfect thing really, but you're still in a controlled environment. Like the sheep are not going to run to one end of the field and you're going to ruin it. Mm-hmm. You're in a nice controlled environment. You're making the dog win every single time. Yeah. Hopefully.
How do you teach them to lie down? Right, so it depends.
I wasn't very good in the rain.
No. It depends. So you can do it 2 ways. It's very split in the... So some people teach the lie down beforehand, which is... We haven't got a star now. Basically, you just have a treat in your hand and you put it to the ground. So the mouth comes to the ground and then you tell them to lie down. Or you can teach them in the ring as you're training. So basically you make the dog... Do you want to do it now?
Swift. Swift.
I'll show you with Swift. Oh, with the sheep.
Oh, what was I doing?
We're going to balance the dog again and make him not move behind. So To show like how you would teach to lie down if you didn't have it already. So if you're going to put your dog in the ring and it doesn't have a lie down already, the dog's going to keep on constantly wanting to go one way or the other. So basically you're just going to be a block. You're going to block both sides until he stops. Even just a brief pause, and you're going to say lie down. Lie down. So Swift's listening to me. So it's quite hard to show you because Swift is already trained to lie down. So there he is there. A normal dog would want to keep going and pushing to go that way or that way, that way or that way. So you literally wait for that pause and you teach him to lie down there. They get used to it. Just as fast as they pick up the word, like the words come by for left and right, they pick up the lie down. Yeah, we use dog whistles. We just didn't actually bring it on yet. We didn't bring them out. Swift is just starting on whistles now. Again, it's something that you bring on later when a dog. So once you know that your dog, when you're really happy where your dog's at, and you're working more out in the field, which is what Swift is doing. Drift's doing a bit of that, but then you start to introduce the whistles, and you do that the same way as the voice commands. So you would send him away with the come by, You would send him off with the come by, and then you would blow the come by whistle at the same time. So then they start to pick up that whistle is associated with that word, associated with that direction and movement.
After a week or so, you do the whistle first and see if they pick it up straight away.
Yeah, and then slowly, instead of saying the word first, you would then introduce the whistle first, and then eventually you don't need the word at all. Is Danny obedient? Sometimes. He looks fuming. About to have... Oh gosh, they're all coming in so fast. How do you know when they're fit enough to do a fell gather? So...
When you're fit enough.
Yeah, when you're fit enough. So for anyone who doesn't know what a fell gather is, in Cumbria, like the mountains we call the fells, and they don't have any fences, they don't have any walls up, so there could be thousands and thousands of sheep up on there. It's big gathering days where you could be gathering up to 4,000 sheep off there.
You could be out for 6, 7, 8
You could be out all day with your dog. So I mean, we just take our dogs with us. So once they're young, they start coming with us, sometimes on a lead to keep the ones that aren't ready yet. And they just get some used to that stamina. We run the dogs with us all the time. When we go off on the bike, we make them run. It just builds up their kind of fitness and their energy. And yeah, don't get me wrong, they're knackered at the end of a fell gather again, mentally, because it's so tiring.
We can see
and it's so new. But watch Drift, yeah. So Drift doesn't switch off. Look at him. Look at his eye. You can see it in his eyes. He just can't stop. It's ingrained in you, isn't it, pal? Stay. Good lad. Stay.
Whereas that thing, he's watching, but he's switched off.
Yeah, whereas Swift is there, but he's not quite as intense on doing everything. Do you know what I mean? He'll chill. Like Dan, yeah. Although I'm not like Drift in that way. Drift is such a pocket rocket. But yeah, like I said, we're not professionals at this. We do it every day, but
we need the dogs. The dogs are our team. They make our job a lot easier.
You have to come over here. Come over here and talk. No one can hear you.
I was just going to say that we're not professionals, but we use our dogs every single day because we need them for our job. And without the dogs, it'd be a hard job.
Yeah.
Because my quad doesn't turn as fast as a dog.
Oh, how do you train? Do a little walk up for me, but with the body movement too. So with the body language too. So walk backwards. Me? Yeah, with the dog. So we didn't actually say how we train the walk up. So with the sides, how we move into that space. Hold on a sec. With this, we block the space we don't want them to go to. When we walk up, we simply walk backwards. I say. It's quite hard because we're going backwards quite a lot for Swift here. So Swift is kind of, he's not used to going and doing puppy training. I need him to come back to you then. You need to bring the sheep to you and you walk backwards to demonstrate how you turn. So watch this now and watch what Dan does. Okay, so Dan walks backwards and it makes Swift bring the sheep onto him more. So that takes the pressure off the dog because you're moving out the way of it and you're giving him more space to come forwards. Does that make sense?
Lie down, lie down, lie down. Steady, steady, steady. Lie down, lie down.
But yeah, so guys, this is just the very beginning of how you train a dog. There's so much more to it, and there's so much more to learn. Obviously we are always learning every day too. Some amazing people, if you want to learn more, are the likes of Emma Gray, Kevin Evans, Derek Scrimminger. Who else is really good that we can follow? Katie Cropper.
Sam Roper, if you want to watch something.
Sam Roper, who's on Instagram, he's really good on here.
And Jess, if you have any questions, they'll answer them as well.
Jess, Sheepdog Jess on here. So there's loads of good people. What I'll do is when we do this video and upload it, I'm going to put a list of really good people that can also teach more and are probably more professional than we are at teaching it.
And they've been very helpful to us. If we've got a problem,
yeah, and they've taught us a lot along the way too. But yeah, we just want to share. A lot of people have asked for it for
every time we walk the dogs.
Yeah, since Swift and Drift arrived, everybody wanted a video.
Because we put nice music on and they want to hear the commands.
Yeah, so we thought we would finally do it and give you a chance to see how it's done. Hopefully you've enjoyed it and you've learned a lot, or learned some bits.
If you've got any more questions, put them. When Hannah puts the video on again, if you've got any more questions that we didn't answer, because obviously they keep going up on the screen, but it's very hard to see them. So if you've got any more questions, just put them on the bottom of the video and we'll answer them for you there.
And we'll also put a video on of Star doing her sit down and lie down.
In our story.
That she actually does.
When she's warmed up with a hot chocolate.
Yeah. Someone just asked her to do gun dogs. No, not our thing.
I can do them as well though.
Well, Danny thinks he can do them. But we don't have any, so we're
Hannah doesn't let me have all these dogs.
Whatever. Absolute full of rubbish, this man, I swear down. A couple more questions before we go. How long does it take to fully train a sheepdog? Again, completely depends on your dog and how well they take to it and how quick they learn. By 2 years, your dog should be functioning good on the farm and being useful on the farm. I would say give it up to 2 years. But some dogs don't start till 2-3 years. I've seen people start dog at 3 and 4 and they still work. So I just think it's better to start them younger and get them used to it from a pup.
It's like a kid, isn't it, really?
Yeah, like a kid. They soak things up way more. But yeah, that is it from us guys, because it's starting to get more rainy. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope it answered enough for you. I think the next live will probably be lambing time. I've got to go down to Hereford for a month's lambing, so I'm sure it'll be in the lambing shed. Dan won't be there. Boo-hoo.
I'll be looking after this place.
Yeah, we'll be looking after you. He might even do a live here by himself.
Oh, God.
Dun, dun, dun. But, yeah, hope you enjoyed it from all of us here at Team Red. We will see you very soon.
Thank you very much for joining us.
And I'm going to do that awkward thing where you try and put it down and it doesn't go down. I can never remember how you do it. Oh, right up there.